they share with us that as soon as they define all of these patterns and we connected to the pipeline, they also connected the design system of the solution in the same bundle that we call stacks. And now they are like 80% faster than what they used to be.
Wow. Let's talk about the challenge that our prospects and customers are talking about it. Because we are seeing a lot of challenge related to CTOs, head of engineering, head of applications. For instance, Gartner mentioned that during COVID timeframe, CTOs has received more budget to transform internally and externally the organization. They got more budget, but unfortunately, 70% of the organization said IT has not delivered the promise they have mentioned. So a lot of business has been not transformed, even get more budget, more developers, and better increase the teams to make that happen. In your vision, because I know have been CTOs, different organizations, you know absolutely better than a lot of people, what happened for CTOs not be able to deliver what there was expected for them?
So Mike, it's a great question. Imagine that CTOs in large organizations, they have this real challenge. What do you do with your legacy applications? What do you do with reskilling your engineering teams? And about your cloud operational model? And the hard decisions of, I will invest on premises or we will move our workloads to the cloud. You have a lot of moving parts. So in our perspective, we strongly believe that the platform vision probably would be a easiest way and a more robust way to build mechanisms that will bring your build moment of applications and your run moment of these applications to a platform way of build softwares. I will try to explain this. Imagine that as a single person, as a developer of a large enterprise, you have to do a lot of decisions. You have to choose the language you want to build your application. You have to choose the cloud where you want to run your applications. You have to do, for example, all of your CI and CD steps, and you repeat this process a lot of times. So in our perspective, if you can make this process in a platform, probably your teams will have a person that's a senior software engineer that probably today you already invest to build patterns for different business teams that are building features and business features. If you try to do your own platform, and you can do it, I strongly believe that you can build your internal developer platform. It's like a decision of investment of time of your team. Probably you don't have a lot of resource. You have to choose between the missions. And if you want to be really very good building internal developer platforms, this is an option. But actually, what I see in the biggest part of the times that I have discussions with customers, they have a lot of business challenges and they are investing time of the best software engineers to crafty cloud configurations. They are invest a lot of time of software engineers trying to understand how the pieces and moving parts of software cloud components try to work together.
Make totally sense, Ed. And I would say not only the CTOs, head of engineers, they share about your vision, they have the same vision, but Gartner also mentioned this year that by 2026, 80% of companies, we're going to invest on platform engineers to reuse codes, components, and to be able to solve the problems that you have just mentioned. But as you mentioned, companies can build their internal platform specifically. But if Gartner is correct, we both believe that Gartner in that situation is absolutely correct. Companies have only 3 years to be able to get 80% of the marketplace reusing components and codes. And I think we can help them to do right now, right?
I believe you are really correct and it makes sense what you said, because they have to deal with limited resource. We have to deal with skills and problems, reskilling our teams. We have to deal with complex legacy systems. in different platforms. And of course that you have to learn during this process how to build the platform. And it's not an easy decision of make or buy. It's how you design your clear strategy to really give back to your business the value the business is waiting. It's not about the technology decision on. It's how you can focus and you keep your cognitive load of your teams in your biggest challenge. Of course, that building a platform for software engineers, it's a beautiful way of telling technology history. But I strongly believe that's not the main aspect of the problems that CIOs and CTOs has to fix it today, as a lack of how we bring value and speed to the business, because the world now is moving in a different pace. As we can see in the last year, the business are really transforming. We have now this new, let's say, new moment of generative AI. We have a lot of buzzwords in the technology scene happening today. But the main aspect here is how you have this clear strategy to activate value. We like to say here that we don't like proof of concepts. We like proof of value. And of course, if you decide to build your own platform, it's a journey. You have to learn how to deal with the different aspects of different providers. Of course, the main skill of these teams that build platforms is different of the main skill of the teams that build the business features you need to give your customers the best journey, the journey that your customers deserve.
And have I heard correctly? I have seen you talking to CTOs mentioning our main goal is to be able to see your team developing a code in a one day, and not only a basic code, but a productive code that's gonna stay for a long time. Is that possible?
Yes, let's put this way. We have this vision of code and production on the first day. And it's not about bad code. It's the code that makes sense to your security, to your patterns, to your way of work. And we try to abstract these problems in a technology that we call stacks. So you can bring superpowers to your team, in our opinion, when you make these decisions of patterns. And then a lot of software engineers interact with these decisions. They use what we call workspaces and studios to really build business features. And we try to bring to your software engineers this way of work where your architecture is not on in a code place that you call a documentation. We call it of a really executable architecture. And how can we make this really happen? Actually, it's not on a vision, it's a way of work where we can, with your team, discuss about the patterns that make sense to your moment, to your modernization, to the way you want to build applications. And then we reflect this in code. And this code, it's open, you can see, you can interact with it, you can read, you can understand. But this code represents your patterns, your security guardrails, all the configurations that you need within your cloud provider. And of course, that if you want or if you prefer, you also can use our platform as your cloud provider. It's all about your decision, how to build the stacks, how to use the plugins, and how to use the cloud services. We are completely agnostic to these decisions, and our technology can help you to make these decisions effective as code.
I want to make sure I understand correctly because it's very interesting what you just said. You said if a client has a modernization challenge, which is a lot of them, they are moving a monolithic application to microservice and cloud-based. Also applying new applications like Java, .NET, Python, those kind of things. But in addition to that, not only application moving, workloads moving to the cloud, but also all the FinOps and operations to the cloud in our cloud. Everything that I said is correct? Is everything part of our solution can provide?
Yes, we can think in terms of these blocks, can help you with the setup of your CTO vision, but as code. And we can help you with the operational of this vision, with all the guardrails, with the security issues in terms of the configurations in the platform, And of course, we can help you with the day one of operations, with FinOps, and of course, responding to incidents. So it's the platform that gives you freedom to focus in the main objectives of your business.
It's amazing, but let me try to understand a little bit better. If a customer might say, Ed, I do use GitHub, for instance. What is different from your type on your platform in terms of GitHub, for instance?
GitHub is a great platform, as GitLab is a great platform, and Bitbucket these are great platforms, and we integrated with all of them. The main difference is that we pack all of these blocks in what technology that we call stacks. So instead of your developers stay crafting the best repos to build their solution, in this moment of setup, we give the bundle already connected. And this is what we think that is beautiful here.
I love the topic you just mentioned, free your time. And I have heard that our customers that are leveraging the platform already, they have accelerated so much their development process. Tell me some examples from the timing perspective, how they have accelerated their journey.
Okay, I will not mention one specific name, but in big numbers, some customers said that for the backend services that they write in .NET, they are like 10 times faster than they used to be. And it's important to mention that these customers, they are not new cloud users. They are already using this cloud operational model, building softwares using the public cloud, but they still have a lot of space for improvement. And sometimes we can be even 2 times faster than this. For example, a customer that have a lot of front-end solutions to build, they share with us that as soon as they define all of these patterns and we connected to the pipeline, they also connected the design system of the solution in the same bundle that we call stacks. And now they are like 80% faster than what they used to be. And they are not working only with internal teams, because this is important. They are working with their own software engineers, but they are also working with third-party software developers. As you fix this problem of the patterns, you can just grow this, but not grow in terms of trying to convince people why this is good. You share the patterns are code, and of course, you can repeat the process. And then if you repeat the process, you can improve the process and you can see what is going on.
It's very interesting. So you understood all the topics, especially on the accelerated the process, but experience is a very important topic. And tell me a little bit the developer's journey, for instance, because we know how hard their life is specifically. They need to check the infrastructure, the code they're going to use, the secure guardrails. They need to check everywhere the best code to reuse. When they start using our platform, tell me a little bit how they start in the morning using our platform and how their lives started to be.
So imagine that there are 2 big journeys. The first one, Mike, you are a senior software engineer that want to build the patterns. So you open the platform, download the CLI, you already know the language, you already know, of course, the libraries, you know the frameworks, you know a lot of decisions in terms of your cloud components. So you have 2 options. You can use our plugins to accelerate your decisions, or you can build your plugins and stacks. You choose it. If you want to use all, probably you will just see the problems that these plugins and stacks have already solved, and you can try it. Easy going. But if you want to build your all, we have numbers that in 2 days, actually, we can design with you the best stack for your proof of value. We can teach you the mechanism to create a stack, and you can create your own plugins, stacks, and use your own studios to share your technology decisions. If you have some experience with codes like Terraform, if you have some experience with AWS CloudFormation, probably you can do this. Depends on the size of the system you want to design in hours. So in the first day, probably you go to production with your stacks. The first day.
I love the topic you mentioned, technology decisions. So if I'm developer specifically, I don't need to check everywhere to start my day specifically. Based on
Download the CLI. If you are the guy that, okay, I'm working with the, I have to design a new application, 1 microservice, 2 microservices, 10 microservices. I'm working in a very regulated market with a lot of decisions in in layers that I can't see. Using our technology, you just have the CLI or access to the portal. You choose the stack from a studio. You give one command, like the StackSpot CLI command, and you create the stack with all the dependence that comes from the software layer and all the requirements of the infrastructure layers. And then you have to insert only the business logic of your code. That's all. You can build code in like hours. I can say that depends on the microservice in minutes. And we can show you how to do that.
wow. Also, I can almost seen people chat with they're not doing chat today, but I probably can see people telling on the chat. How about generative AI specifically? How can you say about that? Are we approaching this? Are we thinking to apply generative AI on our platform, or what's your vision about it?
Yes, we are with three. Just to be really honest with you, right now we build 3 use cases because everything that we try to design here, the first thing that we have in mind is not proof of concept, so it's proof of value. So our 3 initial use case, they try to speed up the process of FinOps. So we use chain of thoughts and we combine it with generative AI, with a generative AI approach. And in the end of process, we generate code in your Apple infrastructure as a code that will optimize the costs of that part of your problem. So we have one agent here that can understand your infrastructure and give advices, code to fix the infrastructure. This one. We have a second one that we are now bringing to the platform that receives signs of your monitoring systems, and depends on the event, it generates code to correct your cloud provider configuration. For example, imagine that you have like a Dynamo database and you have a security issue that finds that this database had a lot of mismatched configurations. We can understand this and generate the code to correct this infrastructure layer. And the last but not least, as a developer, you can use your favorite IDE, your developer interface. You install our agents and give you suggestions about your code, but we do in a different way. We try to understand the context of your company. For example, let's imagine that you have your own APIs portal. We can receive context for this, and we use this to give a better hint and make blocks of code that make sense to your reality. Imagine that you have a lot of patterns of security. We can use this. Of course, we have technology here that will understand these patterns, convert to a format that will, this is important. Everything that I'm saying here stays in your environment, in your cloud, or in a place that you are comfortable with. We are not trying to only give you the generative AI experience. We are trying to give you a really deep enterprise generative AI experience that makes sense to your context, that protects your data, and that makes your team faster. It's not about how this technology is cool, but again, how this technology will be applied to real use case, FinOps, incidents, and improve your code using everything that you have, your repos, your APIs, your documentations, to bring context, and then probably, because it's all about statistics, we have a chance to give great answers to your team.
Love that. And I love the topic you just mentioned about your data, your repository. Another question, because people might thinking, Gartner is correct. In 3 years, they're going to need to have my 80% of my reuse components ready for that. Possibly there are 3 options in the marketplace. One, maybe some other EDP platform that comes with 20% of platforms ready, and people need to get this platform into their infrastructure, and they need to develop it from this 20% up to the 100%, and it maybe takes a year and a half and 2 years. The second option might be, I'm going to develop my own IDP. And now we are seeing companies investing 3 years, investing so much money on it, etc. And the third one could be our platform that comes with maybe 80% of the content ready, but also includes some co-creation that customer gonna use the platform on their it will be on cloud, but in terms of their vision of their platform. So would be their platform, but with less investment and less time in terms of reuse the platform. Any comment about that?
Yes, because the real important part of the platform is this relationship that you create between the producers of the asset and the consumers of the asset. And sometimes the customers, they want to be the producers. They know everything about the decisions they made in terms of software engineering. So they really can create and co-create in our approach. Because I'm not trying to bring only like a system catalog. I'm not trying to do, of course, a replacement of your way of work. We believe that the platform value is how we connected your really experienced teams and these decisions teams that enable technology with the business teams that need to bring value to the business.
Love that. I was almost forgetting one important topic, Ed, because we talk about the application developers journey, right? But also we see a lot of customers want to accelerate their data pipelines and the machine learning process itself. Do you want to comment about that? How do we provide any accelerating process in terms of data pipeline and machine learning process?
Yes, because for us, the pipelines and the components, they have like the software and the infrastructure. So these are assets that we call type of components, and we use the same approach. We have plugins, we have templates, we have stacks that deal with the infrastructure. For example, if you want to run your data mesh, we have our starters for this kind of infrastructure layer. And if you want to build one application that you bring libraries to connect it to your data stream, for example, you use Kafka. We also have these plugins that can connect it to your solution. So we treat with the same patterns of stacks, studios, plugins, and this runtime layer.
That's really awesome. So not only, so we are really thinking about the CTO agenda over here, because everything from starting code, the data pipeline, the migration of the legacy application, and everything related to cloud, not only to move workloads to the cloud, but also leveraging the cloud in the best way as possible, including the efficiency and the performance of the cloud.
It's about speed, it's about security, and as you said, it's about efficiency, because this will give space to the business.
Yeah, that based on what Gartner mentioned earlier. So 70% of the company has not delivered to the business what they have promised. So I really love what I'm hearing today. So it's really awesome.
We can like try to do a little future exercise here.
Let's go for it.
In my perspective, now we have more creators with superpowers. And of course, a lot of different ways of building journeys. They are under construction right now in places that we can't imagine. So how do you as an enterprise will really guarantee that you have speed, governance, and security in a platform way? Because what you do with single products is try to build process that looks like a platform. But if you insert software in some parts of your company, then you can really have a platform to build software, to build journeys, and to receive feedbacks from your customer. And this is what, in my opinion, will free your time to compete in this different and new world. So that's my 2 cents.
I love your sense, absolutely. Edward, it was a really big pleasure talking to you today. Thanks for your time, and thanks for the team that are people that are really listening to us today. Please continue to watch our information. We're going to continue to provide information over here for you. And please reach out if you want to talk and continue this conversation. Thank you so much.